Yeah, my spiked armour is a little too hot, unfortunately, for this climate, so I've had to just go with shorts. But the trip is going very well, yeah. I mean, I've done a lot of sitting in a air-conditioned hotel room, working. I've got an edit to finish. Editors, you know, they've all got an opinion. Yeah. Sadly, the piper must be paid.
Yes, that's correct.
A lot of work been done, but also meeting some readers. Readers are good.
Yes.
They help keep me in business.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
I mean, Sauron couldn't have done what he did without the orcs, right? He needed the little guys.
That's correct.
To make it work, so, you know, readers are good. Yeah, well, Canberra first.
Yeah, okay.
Canberra, and then Melbourne for a day.
Excellent.
And then Perth. Yeah, then
Great.
the heat.
Oh,
Out to the desert. They're not dissimilar to what I find elsewhere. I mean, more Australian accents on the whole than I'd get in, say, Scandinavia.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, they're very engaged, they're very excited, they're very interesting people. A lot of women I've found, you know, in events. Different countries seem to have different balance, different gender balance in the events, and it seems like probably more women than men so far here, which is, I know readers generally are, you know, the majority of readers are women, but it's always nice to see a good mix of people in the audience. Yes. It will. It took me about 8 or 10 months to write the first book. I was flushed with the excitement of moving to a new world, taking charge of new characters, trying a new style, you know. And so it went pretty smoothly, pretty fast. And I said to my agent, you know what, if this continues, I think I could have all these books finished off by kind of Christmas 2014. He said, wow, that's brilliant. You know, we'd have a year then, a year in hand, the book's ready to be published. You could relax, you could go to the beach, put your feet up, take the spiked armour off.
Sounds lovely.
Have some time off. It did sound lovely. And then as soon as we got in meetings with publishers, he said, how do you feel about publishing these books 6 monthly? And the publishers liked the idea. I wasn't so sure. It's ended up again with a kind of a rush to get the third one out there. But you know, it will of course be a fantastic book, because they're the only kind I deliver. Well, no immediate plans. I don't think there's any reason why there couldn't be other ones in the future, if it felt like the right time to pick up some of the loose threads. But yeah, certainly there'll be 3 out, 6 monthly. This third one hopefully will appear in July or thereabouts. And then that'll be it for this world, at least for the time being. Yeah, well, it was kind of, I wanted to try a slightly different tone, a slightly different style. I'd written 6 big, heavy, epic fantasy books, very adult books, in the same world and in roughly the same kind of style. And so it felt like time to try something slightly different, something more compact, something kind of with a bit less complex, a bit more of a simple, focused, page-turning kind of appeal. And so writing something that was aimed slightly at younger audience as well seemed to fit quite nicely with that possibility. Excellent. And so that was always the idea, and it's been really good. It's been a nice change of pace. I was expecting it to take a while to develop a world and start off with new characters, but actually the excitement of trying something new, and in a way being liberated from the weight of all those characters and those threads and those bits of history and things that had developed in the other world, the opportunity to start with a blank page was quite exciting. So it's been good, but it's been a fast publication schedule, so quite a fast, crowded writing schedule. There's been a lot to get done, but it's coming together. I find generally I don't like deadlines, I don't like pressure, but I actually know I'll probably respond quite well to it in the end.
Yeah. Without
the pressure of the date coming up, it's very hard to really focus yourself. I think if I was left to my own devices, it would crawl a lot. Yeah, well, I mean, I've done maybe 7 or 8 already, for various different things. I mean, it's getting the way that e-publishing has worked on the internet has meant, in a way, there's a bit of a new lease of life for short fiction. There's new ways you can get a short story out to readers kind of on its own, onto a Kindle, onto a reading device of some kind. And so there's a lot of interest from publishers in kind of packaging short fiction up with other things. So for the books I've done so far, I've tended to do an additional short story for promotional purposes or whatever that kind of sheds light on one character, one element of the story. And I've also contributed to a couple of big multi-author anthologies and things. So a few stories are built up, and I need to write maybe 3 or 4 more to have enough together for a collection. and then that'll be the next thing I publish probably next year sometime.
Wow, I look forward to that.
Yeah, as do I.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing it finished. Yeah, I never really like things that aren't finished. And once they're finished, I get much more positive about them. Yeah, well, I've got 3 kids as well, so they take up a fair bit of time, and then there's books to think about and all the other stuff that goes along with being a writer. I mean, a lot of a writer's work is not necessarily writing. You know, once you're published in a lot of different countries, you end up with a lot of rights issues to deal with, a lot of emails to do, editors to talk to, covers to talk about, readers to talk to, so there's a lot of additional emailing and stuff that goes on. Writing dwindles down to a smaller and smaller and smaller part of your day, and obviously you need to fit in 4 or 5 hours of gaming of one kind or another.
That's a given.
That's a given, that's got to stay. That's a block around which you organise the other things. I've always been a gamer, you know, right back from when I was a kid. I suppose I'm of that generation of people. I'm 21 now. That generation who grew up with, you know, video games when they first appeared, home computing and all those things. So it's always been a big thing of mine. It's been fascinating to see how it's developed as a medium and how it's just starting to become a kind of proper storytelling form at times. Messages for the fans, I mean the same message I always have, which is my ongoing delight and amazement that there are any. It's great that you have readers, and it's kind of, I think writers have this split personality of enormous arrogance on the one hand and crippling self-doubt on the other. You know, you've got to be massively arrogant to suppose that anyone will ever be interested in what you do, but you've got to doubt what you're doing in order to refine it and review it and improve it. So it's always, you know, the doubting part of you is always amazed that anyone is interested in this stuff you dreamed up in the middle of the night for your own amusement, really. So I'm just very grateful that anyone reads my stuff. Long may it continue.
Well.
It's an ancient family, tracing its roots right back to the darkness of prehistory. There has to be an oppositional force to righteousness in the world, and so I feel that I embody that myself.
Excellent.
Really, technically, I know we're in Australia, but if this was Britain, you should be kneeling before me. There should be a carpet of bodies laid at my feet. Without the smell of rotting flesh, I get a little nauseous.
Wow.
Well, it's always a big, always a difficult thing. There's always a big discussion goes on about covers and how you're going to sell a book is your kind of main way of identifying to the reader what they're going to pick up and trying to connect with an audience right from the start. I think with fantasy books you're always trying to kind of walk a fine line. You're trying to come up with something which isn't going to put off a dedicated fantasy reader, is going to seem like the sort of book they want, but at the same time something that seems to reach across the aisle to a more general readership, if you like. And also you want something that's distinctive and is going to pop off the shelf and is going to stand out among other books. So there's a lot of different things you're trying to achieve with a cover. I think these are nice because they're quite strong, they're quite graphic, they stand out, you know, powerfully, but at the same time they don't seem to put off any particular reader. So, and they say something about the books as well. That they're violent.
Yes.
Chiefly. They've got some texture and feel about them as well, which I think is always nice in a book. I mean, these days with ebooks, obviously, I think the physical book has to try and offer as much as it can in terms of the way it feels, the way it looks, having some depth, some foil, some embossing, something that makes it seem like a valuable, prestigious object. And I think, again, these books achieve that nicely. Nice map inside as well. George was actually talking about me, not about the book. I grabbed him in San Diego and he dragged me along the corridor for a few miles before he finally shook me off. Then what have we got? Sort of swordy things. Boat. Boat there, something like that. This is going to be very, very close. I'm not sure you're going to be able to tell them apart. Boom. It's almost exactly correct. Can you tell the difference?